It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, HOU 9 presents the Dodgers as they take on the Houston Astros. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Tuesday evening to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers putting an 8-game winning streak on the line tonight. Back in 2006, they had an 11-game winning streak, and as they find themselves right now, 2 games back of the front-running Padres and only a half a game behind the second-place Giants. For the Dodgers, it'll be Hiroki Kuroda with a record of 4-1. He is 1-0 in his career against the Astros. Bud Norris, a right-hander, will be on the mound for the Texans. We've never seen him before. He is 2-4, both of his victories at the expense of the St. Louis Cardinals. Tomorrow night, a collision again, the Dodgers and the Padres. We'll get to tonight's ball game right after this. Line is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of the day. And by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Tuesday evening to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Dodger Stadium on Andre Ethier bobblehead night. And it looks like we have awfully close to a sellout right now as the folks come to pay homage to the hero who is out with a broken finger. So the Dodgers trying to keep a streak alive, adding more interest. They are trying to win their 9th in a row, 11 out of 12, 14 out of 17. They're also trying to make a move on the front-running San Diego Padres, who are playing the Giants again tonight in San Diego. It is somewhat shocking to realize that the San Diego Padres have beaten the Giants 7 straight. So the Padres are sitting on a game-and-a-half lead over San Francisco and a 2-game lead ahead of the surging Dodgers. The opposition tonight, the Houston Astros. It'll be Michael Bourne in center field, Jeff Keppinger at shortstop, Lance Berkman at first, Carlos Lee hits cleanup in left field, Hunter Pence in right, Pedro Feliz at third, Kaz Matsui is at second base, Humberto Quintero the catcher, and the pitcher is Bud Norris. On the mound for the Dodgers, Hiroki Kuroda, the 35-year-old with a record of 4-1. He has a splendid earned run average of 2.6. And this will be his 59th career Major League start. In his last 15 starts, he's really hit his stride, 9-3. Last time out, struck out 9 Arizona Diamondbacks, went 7 1/3. Dodgers won that game 6-3. And although you have to say John Eli is a very tough act to follow, because Eli has now faced 84 batters without giving up a walk. The Dodgers now come back with Kuroda. He walked 1 in that game in Arizona. And for Kuroda, he has walked 13 batters this year for a little more than 2 walks per 9 innings. Last year, he averaged 1.8 walks per 9. So control, as well as location. And Kuroda says he's ready. But take a look at the Dodgers with the leather back of him. It's Ramirez Kemp and Xavier Paul in right field. Andre Ethier has officially been put on the disabled list. The infield of Blake, Carroll, DeWitt, and Loney, and the battery of Kuroda and Martin. Xavier Paul back up again, and the Dodgers admire his speed and think that he can hold the fort until Ethier heals, and he'll be sharing a lot of work with Garrett Anderson and also with Reed Johnson. So Xavier in right field, and Michael Bourne, speedster, left-hand batter, he has 14 stolen bases, hitting .286, and Kuroda deals a strike, and we're underway. For Michael Bourne, out of Houston, Texas, went to the University of Houston. He has 9 infield hits. He has 3 bunts. He has 14 stolen bases, so he can motor. He takes a pitch high, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Bourne was a 4th-round pick by the Phillies, and last played for the Phillies in '07. Now the pitch coming up to him, 1-1. Breaking ball drops in nicely for a strike. And the count 1-2. So Kuroda trying to keep it going. The Dodgers trying to win 9 in a row. We'll keep an eye on the San Diego game with the Giants. Hiroki turns, ready now, comes back to the left-hand hitter, and it's a ground ball to the right side to DeWitt. Up with it to throw him out. So Bourne grounds out and 1 away. And the batter now, Jeff Keppinger. As the Dodgers have an 8-game winning streak, the Astros have a 4-game losing streak. So a matter of extremes here. Brad Mills, the manager of the Astros, going back to his college days. Brad was a roommate with Terry Francona of the Red Sox. He became the bench coach for Terry, and now he's the skipper. So here's Keppinger, right-hand hitting infielder, takes a strike. Last night he had 2 base hits while he played second base. to Keppinger, followed by Lance Berkman. And the next pitch to Jeff is off the plate. The 1 ball and 1 strike. Keppinger in and out of the box. The big hitters are right back of him, so he has important at-bats. 1-1 pitch. Jeff swings a drive to center. At the other end of it is Matt Kemp. So we have 2 down in the first inning, and the batter will be Lance Berkman. Berkman had 1 hit last night. It was a single to left field to drive in a run. He also struck out twice and flied to left. He has always carried a lot of thunder in the bat. He's had as many as 45 home runs and as many as 136 runs batted in. So the big boy, born in Waco, went to Rice University in Houston. Left-hand hitter, checks up on the first pitch. They look at third. Swing, says Chris Guccione. And it's a no ball, 1 strike count to Lance Berkman. 2 out, first inning, no score. Hiroki Kuroda looks in to get a sign in quest of his 5th win. Feet together on the rubber, rocks into the windup, and the strike 1 pitch on the way, and that's high. So a 1 ball, 1 strike count, as Kuroda has retired the first 2. Bourne on a ground ball to second. Keppinger on a fly ball to center. Now the 1-1 pitch to Lance Berkman, a check swing on a pitch inside. That's a swing, says Guccione, the third base umpire. Berkman shakes his head no, like a Supreme Court justice listening to the president. And a 1-2 count. Berkman back up and waiting. Kuroda rocks, turns, here he comes, and works it down and away. Ball 2. 2-2 the count to Lance Berkman. Big boy, 6'1", 220. Berkman, 34 years old, has been with the Astros since 1999. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on, popped up behind second base. Jamie Carroll is right there, and that's it for the Astros in the first inning. They go out in order, and at the end of half an inning, no scores. And sets the Astros down in order. Let's take a look now at the Dodger lineup. Russell Martin leading off. Xavier Paul in right field batting second. Then Manny Ramirez with Matt Kemp hitting cleanup. Followed by James Loney and Casey Blake. Then Blake DeWitt and Jamie Carroll. And the pitcher Hiroki Kuroda. On the mound for Houston, Bud Norris. He's out of Green Bay, California. Lives in Nevada up north. An even 6', 220. Came out of Cal Poly, and he was a 6th round pick just 4 years ago. Norris ready and deals to Martin, and the pitch is high, ball 1. Russ Martle has hit in 12 straight. He does not have a hit leading off in any game during this streak. He takes a strike. It usually takes him a little while to add to it.
last night he didn't add to the streak until he had a base hit to right field in the 7th inning. Norris comes back and works it low and away, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. If you are Brad Mills and you're sending Norris out to the mound, you say to him, make believe you're facing St. Louis. A shot deflected off his leg right over to Matsui, who promptly throws out Martin. So that would have been a sure base hit, and it got Norris on the leg, but apparently he's okay. So it's a 1-4-3. And we'll take a look now at the Astros defensively. Lee, Bourne, and Pence in the outfield. Felice, Keppinger, Matsui, and Berkman, and the battery of Norris and Quintero. Norris is 2-4 as he prepares now to face Xavier Paul. Paul brought back a .276 batting average with him. He put it in escrow while he left. Now he's come back. He has 1 RBI, and the left-hand hitter takes a strike, and they count 0-1. Norris is 2-4. His earned run average against the St. Louis Cardinals is .69. His earned run average against everybody else is over 9. And the pitch to Paul outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. He's turned in 2 truly remarkable games against the Cardinals. He allowed 1 run that was unearned when he beat them in April. Right-hander's 1-1 pitch, and that's low, ball 2. Then he came back on May the 13th and beat St. Louis, went 8 innings and allowed 1 earned run. So Xavier Paul facing a right-hander with a record of 2-4 and a 2-1 count with 1 out, bases empty, and Manny Ramirez on deck. Norris taking a little time. The key for Norris is to, like all pitchers, get ahead in the count. Little ground ball to the right side. Matsui is on it to take care of Paul. And we have 2 down here in the first inning, and Manny Ramirez coming up. For Bud Norris, a California boy, it is the first time that he's had a chance to pitch in his native state. First time he's faced the Dodgers. They look up the name Bud, and they find that there have been 4 Buds play in the big leagues as Manny takes down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Norris has started professionally 4 years ago and came up last year with the Astros. The 1-0 pitch to Manny is in on the knuckles. 2 balls and no strikes. Manny hitting .358, 2 home runs, 17 runs batted in. He had a walk and a double last night. He was also cut down at the plate, and he looks at a 2-0 pitch, and that's low, ball 3. 3-0. Well, if discretion is the better part of valor, Matt Kemp waiting on deck, and Norris being very careful with Manny Ramirez. And the 3-0 pitch in at the knees for a strike. 3-1. Manny's double hit the wall 3/4 of the way up the wall in right center field in the 8th inning last night. 3-1 pitch, a big swing and a miss. 3-2 on a fastball. Norris throwing hard. Bud's first name, true name, is David. David Bud Norris. Weighs in at 220. And the 3-2 pitch is hit late and foul off first base down the line, slicing well back into a big crowd tonight. Remember, it's Andre Ethier bobblehead night, and with Ramirez at the plate, hard to forget last year on his bobblehead night when he came up to pinch hit and hit a grand slam home run. That will not be Ethier's role tonight. The 3-2 pitch is low and away, ball 4. So a 2-out walk to Manny Ramirez, and that'll bring up Matt Kemp.
Center fielder, number 27, Matt Kemp.
So Matt Kemp coming up. Last night, it looked like Matt was going to have his first 3-hit game of the year. He had at the time a single to short, a single to left, and a double. However, the single to short was ruled an error, charged to Jeff Keppinger, who played second base last night. So here is Kemp, and the first pitch to Matt is low. We had a close-up of Keppinger opening up his mouth with his glove alongside his cheek. What he's doing is talking to Matsui as to who will cover in case Ramirez breaks. And now Matsui answers back. The pitch to Kemp is swung on and missed, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Of course, it's hard to believe, but they do it with everybody just to stay in the habit. They are not really thinking that Manny Ramirez will be breaking as a stolen base, but they have to think about running him with Matt Kemp at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike, and a throw to first, and that moves Manny back to the bag. We're in the bottom of the first inning, no score on a lovely evening, 66 degrees. It rained in certain areas around town today, but it appears to have moved out, and a lovely evening. 1-1 the count. Out of a stretch goes Norris. The pitch to Kemp. He backs away, and it catches the corner at the knees, and a 1-2 count to Matt Kemp. Matt hitting .277. He has 8 home runs. That was that big one to win the game in San Diego over the center field wall. 24 runs batted in. Norris delivers. Fastball hit to right field and deep. Hunter Pence on his horse at the track, at the railing, and it is well back into the stands for a ground rule double. So Hunter Pence, who plays in right center both for left-handers and right-handers, had another country mile to run, and he couldn't quite catch it, and it bounced up in for the double. Because Ramirez has to stop at third. So here comes James Loney with first base open. Fastball, and Kemp is so strong, even going the other way. Almost went in on the fly, but bounced up and in for the double. So second and third, 2 out, first inning, as the Dodgers try to get the drop on the Houston Astros. Humberto Quintero goes out to talk to Bud Norris for the moment, and here comes James Loney. Loney hitting .307. He has 4 home runs, 25 runs batted in. Last night he had a scoring fly ball. He got an intentional walk, so he wound up going 0 for 2. So Loney checking in with first base open, and they are going to pitch to him with Casey Blake on deck. And the pitch to James are promptly lined into right field, and the Dodgers are going to score 2 runs. A little bit of a surprise that they would pitch to Loney with a slumping Casey Blake on deck. Well, for Brad Mills, live and learn. So Loney, a line drive, single to right to pick up 2.
Dodgers third baseman, number 23.
And now Casey Blake coming up. So Brad Mills is burned here in the first inning as they pitch to Loney, and Jones, he makes them pay. He now has 27 runs batted in. So here's Blake, and Casey has a look at his strike. So they pitch to Loney with first base open, hitting over 300 against a right-hand pitcher. They get burned. Now they have Blake hitting .233, a right-hand batter against the right-hand pitcher. Strike 1 pitch on the way. And Norris delivers high up around the eyes. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and one. The Astros have had 2 starting pitchers who have done very well. Wandy Rodriguez last night did pretty well. 1 earned run, as it turned out. But the 2 who have done well, Roy Oswalt and Brett Myers, combined, their earned run average is 3. There goes Loney. The pitch is low, juggled, and thrown way too late by Humberto. So Quintero unable to find the handle, and Loney steals second base. For Loney, he has now stolen 6 out of 7. The pitch low at the plate, and a 2-1 count now on Casey Blake. So the Dodgers here in the inning with 2 out. Ramirez walked. Kemp doubled into third. They pitched to Loney, who singled to right to drive into. James steals second. And here's Casey Blake trying to pick him up. 2-1. The pitch to Casey is a one-hopper into center field, base hit. Charging it is Bourne. His throw to the plate is not in time. Humberto Quintero swears he tagged him going by, but the plate umpire Brian O'Nora says no. Boy, Michael Bourne with a great throw to the plate, as Loney just did get home standing up. So Quintero bobbled the pitch and lost Loney at second, and Bourne really let one fly, a one-hopper right to the catcher, and Loney just did get by, and the Dodgers lead 3-0. Quintero trying to run it up Loney's back. So the Dodgers 3, the Astros nothing, and here is Blake DeWitt after Casey Blake singles to drive in a run, and the pitch to DeWitt in for a strike. Well, the first thing you want to know about Blake DeWitt, where is Hunter Pence playing him? And Hunter Pence is playing more straightaway right than last night. The pitch low, 1-1 the count. Norris is in the high 20s on the pitch count, getting close to 30 in the first inning. So Brad Mills last night had Pence way over in right center, and 2 fly balls to right went for triples off the bat of Blake DeWitt. This time he fouls one off to the left upstairs, and the count 1-2. Blake with 2 triples last night. The last time that happened was Rafael Furcal 3 years ago against the Mets. Before that, Jason Repko against the Pirates. Here's the 28th pitch of the inning coming up. Norris delivers on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. So DeWitt is caught looking. Norris coming off the mound hot, I think, over the missed tag at the plate. And at the end of an inning, 3-0 Dodgers. The Dodgers celebrate with 3 in the first inning and lead the Astros 3-0. When the Astros went out in order in the first inning, I guess the people in Houston saying, yes, what else is new? They have gone in order this year 140 innings. And the first pitch to Carlos Lee will be low, ball 1, 1-0. So for Brad Mills, down 3-0 in the first inning on a ball club that struggles offensively anyway. The pitch low and away, ball 2. The Astros have gone 62 plate appearances without a walk. That's through the first inning tonight. Their last walk was the second inning Sunday in San Francisco. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Carlos Lee. High fly ball to deep left field. Back goes Manny to the track at the scoreboard. Gone. Home run for Carlos Lee. Just like that, Lee takes one deep and hits it out. For Carlos, his 4th home run and his 13th run batted in. Carlos Lee has the nickname El Caballo, the horse. He left a message last spring after an exhibition game to his manager, who was then Cecil Cooper. He left a message on the manager's desk. It said, "I need tomorrow off. Thanks. The pony used to be El Caballo." Well, he's back to being the horse, and he just hit one out. 3-1 Dodgers, and at the plate now is Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence has been a hot hitter in his last 9 games, hitting .351, a slugging percentage over .750 as he fouls one away, and over that stretch, 4 home runs and 9 runs batted in. Pence last night 1 for 4, a single, and scored a run, and ran his legs off in pursuit of fly balls. So Hunter waiting. Kuroda into the windup. Hiroki deals off the plate. 1-2 the count. For Kuroda, surrendering that home run, that will be the 4th home run that he's given up so far this year. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way to Hunter Pence, and that's down and away. Ball 2. 2-2. Of course, for a fellow like Kuroda, who is right around the plate, you certainly expect that he's going to give up home runs. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way, tapped right at Blake DeWitt for the out. So Pence, a soft line drive to the second baseman, and we have one away. Maybe that's also shows you how remarkable young John Eli is, if you believe the idea that a pitcher right on the plate all the time is going to give up home runs. Well, John Eli around the plate so that he just has not walked anybody. 84 batters without a walk. But he has not given up a home run either. The late Robin Roberts, a Hall of Fame right-hander for the Phillies, who passed away recently. The pitch to Felice in for a strike. Robin, many years, led the league in home runs allowed and gave up over 500 in his career. The pitch is popped up. Jamie Carroll, the shortstop, and he'll squeeze it for the second out. So after Lee homers, Pence lines out. Felice pops it up, and now Kaz Matsui coming up. Matsui got all the headlines, a box certainly, and I'm sure on the highlight films. Against the Giants and Brian Wilson Saturday, 9th inning, Giants winning by a run. The Astros had loaded the bases with 2 out, and Kaz Matsui at the plate. He takes a strike. It was a 15-pitch at-bat. Matsui kept fouling them off. Wilson kept coming after him. And finally, Kaz on the 15th pitch, fly to left. Swings, doesn't get it, and the count 0-2. Wilson in that game made 39 pitches in that inning and still came right back the next day to get a save. Strike 2 pitch to Matsui. A half swing, he's done. Tried to hold up, down he goes. So for Kuroda, 1 run allowed, 1 hit, the home run by the horse, Carlos Lee, and it's 3-1 Dodgers. to get the Astros on the board, but the Dodgers lead 3-1 as we go to the bottom of the second inning against Bud Norris. Bud Norris, we mentioned earlier, as Carlos Lee is having fun with the crowd out there in left field. Bud in 2-0 against the Cardinals this year for an earned run average of 0.69. It gets even better than that as he makes a pitch to Jamie Carroll and misses. He is 4-0 against St. Louis, and his career earned run average against the Cardinals 0.35. His pitch to Carroll in for a strike. And you say to yourself, how in the world can a guy pitch that well against St. Louis? You know what his earned run average is against all the other teams? It's over 7. And how anybody can pitch that well against a Cardinal team with Albert Pujols is truly a mystery. But those are his numbers. 1-2 the count. Jamie Carroll followed by Hiroki Kuroda and then Russell Martin. Norris into the windup and delivers, and it is swung on, uppercutted and missed, and down goes Carroll, 1 away. You know, you can enjoy the excitement of Viva Los Dodgers every Sunday in the next fiesta scheduled for this Sunday, presented by State Farm. The party begins at 11 a.m., includes a pregame concert by Salvador Santana. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. Fastball drives Kuroda away from the plate. Hiroki has proven to be not much of a hitter. He is not only 0 for 16, he has struck out 8 times, but he does become very handy with the bat when asked to sacrifice. He has 4. The 1-1 pitch on the way to Hiroki is taken for a strike up around the letters. 1-2 the count. Dodgers had 7 men come to the plate in the first inning, and 3 of them came home. Kuroda swings, hits a hopper to first, and Lance Berkman takes it to the bag, and we have 2 down. In the first inning with 2 out, Ramirez walked and Kemp doubled him to third. With first base open, Brad Mills pitched to Loney, and James promptly singled to right to drive in 2. Then he stole second base, and then Blake came up hitting in the 230s, and he singled to drive in James. So the Dodgers lead 3-1, and here is Martin, who grounded out in the first inning. He is 0 for 12 during his hitting streak. As far as his first at bat is concerned, it takes him a while to warm up, and he fouls the first one away. However, tonight in the first inning, he might very well have had a base hit. He hit a wicked line drive right up the middle. It struck Norris on the left leg and carried him directly over to Kaz Matsui, and Matsui threw him out. Otherwise, base hit. Strike 1 pitch is swung on, and that's fouled away, and the count 0-2. San Diego Padres will be here starting tomorrow night for 2 more games, fresh from the Dodgers having swept them down there. It'll be rematch: John Garland against Ramon Ortiz, Kevin Correa against Clayton Kershaw. Now the strike 2 pitch to Russell Martin is just off the plate on a check swing. 1-2 the count. Talking about San Diego and the Giants, they're in the bottom of the 3rd inning, no score. Matt Latos is pitching for San Francisco. He's 6'6", 225 pounds. Martin hits a fly ball to right field to Hunter Pence. That's the inning. We'll tell you about Latos in a minute. Dodgers go in order, and at the end of 2, Dodgers 3, Astros 1. 3-1 as we go to the third inning. We were talking about pitcher Matt Latos of the Giants, 6'6", 225 pounds. And we'll duck it in while Humberto Quintero faces Hiroki Kuroda. When San Diego was up at AT&T Park, before the game, Latos was running around in the outfield, as pitchers do, and the fans in the left field stands were hollering to Latos, "Hey, Matt, give us a ball, give us a ball." Well, Latos is 22 years old. The first pitch to Quintero, a little high, ball 1-0. So Latos got a ball and then wound up and threw it as best he could towards the pavilion. The 1-0 pitch foul back. He threw it over the pavilion. It went out into the players' parking lot, and it smashed to smithereens the sunroof of a brand new automobile which belonged to Dave Fleming, the Giant announcer. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Here's the pitch from Kuroda, swung on and missed 1-2. From that moment on, Latos has become a marked man. Not only are the Padres all over him, his own teammates are all over him. Have no idea what they're talking about him in the radio booth. But he's on the mound tonight against San Diego. The 1-2 pitch poked on the ground to the right side. Blake DeWitt picks it up and takes care of Quintero. Humberto has to be a little unhappy. He was robbed of 2 hits last night. Now he grounds out to the catcher, who also lost Loney on the stolen base when he juggled the pitch, and grounds out. 1 away, and here comes Bud Norris. Down in San Diego, they've got something going. No score, top of the 4th inning. And Kuroda ready and delivers a strike. Jonathan Sanchez for the Giants is perfect through 3 innings with 4 strikeouts. Matt Latos has 5 strikeouts and 1 hit allowed, and they're scoreless in the 4th. 0-2 the count to Bud Norris. Dodgers lead 3-1, top of the 3rd. Kuroda rocks, turns, and the right-hander comes back, down and away with a breaking ball, a slider. And it evens up 1-2 the count, 1 away, and he's retired 4 in a row. He retired 3 in a row before the home run and 4 after. The 1-2 pitch is taken low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Norris back up and waiting. Bud has had 11 at-bats. He has 1 hit. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way to the right-hand batter is taken high. Ball 3. Norris, with his 1 hit, has a run batted in. Kuroda goes all the way, turns ready, and the 3-2 pitch is swung on and fouled away outside of third, though the count stays. So we'll be watching that Giant Padre game, number 1, to find out, can the Padres beat the Giants 8 straight? That's pretty hard to believe. 3-2 the count. Kuroda rocks and ready, and the right-hander delivers. Half-swing ground ball to DeWitt, who picks it up and throws him out. Norris unable to get around on a fastball. He barely got the bat almost to his chin as he grounded out. So 2 out in the 3rd inning, and Michael Bourne coming up. Bourne grounded out in the 1st inning. He's quite a player. First of all, he was blessed with the great speed. We told you about the fact that he has bunt singles, 14 stolen bases, but he has a terrific arm. Boy, that throw he made on the base hit by Blake, he almost got Loney. He has 7 assists out there in center field. The 1-0 pitch is foul down the left field line, out of play, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Of course, the Astro lineup, their outfield has 12 assists. 1-1 to Michael Bourne out of Houston, Texas, lives in Humble, Texas. The 1-1 pitch is taken low. These are humble times for the Houston Astros. They have won 13, they've lost 25, and they are 9 games back of Cincinnati. Here's the 2-1 pitch to the left-hand hitting center fielder, and that's taken high. He's 5'11", so ball 3. What Bourne does to try and capitalize on his speed, he is very much of a ground ball hitter. He grounded to DeWitt in the first inning. This time hits it in the air down the left field line. Manny coming over. No play on a foul ball. And it's still 3-2. For Michael Bourne, he is first in the National League in ground outs to air outs. He averages almost 3.5 ground balls to every fly ball out. All right, he's back up to the plate. Kuroda ready. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball into the hole by the diving Blake DeWitt. So Bourne with 2 out, a single to right, and that will bring up Jeff Keppinger, the shortstop. So Bourne, who is 14 out of 18 in stolen bases, and we'll see if they run him at all. Last year for the Astros, he had 61 stolen bases. So Bourne at first with 2 out, and here's Keppinger, who first checked with Dave Clark to see about taking a pitch and letting Bourne try to run. Loney holding a corner on him, and Kuroda holding the ball at his belt as Keppinger with that open stance, his left foot on its way to third base, but then he swings it back in towards the plate on the pitch and takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Dave Clark comes out of the third base coaching box to make sure runner Bourne and hitter Keppinger see whatever Brad Mills wants. 0-1 the count. Not only does Bourne have 14 stolen bases, he has stolen third base twice. He can motor, not afraid of failure. 0-1 the count. Now the strike one pitch is instead a throw to first, and Bourne back in standing up. The one thing that Michael Bourne does that they're hoping he will cut back, that would be striking out. Bourne has struck out 28 times this year, and last year he had the most strikeouts of anyone with 5 or less home runs. Keppinger takes high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bourne last year had 3 home runs, but struck out 140 times. One and one the count. Bourne at 27 takes the lead, and the 1-1 pitch on the way swung on and missed. 1-2. Keppinger played second base last night. He plays shortstop today, but for the Astros, Brad Mills shuffling his cards all the time. This is the Astros' 36th different lineup, and when you keep changing your lineup without injury, it's like playing Go Fish, where you just don't have the good cards, and you're desperate to somehow or other find a connection. For Brad, it hasn't worked yet. Give him time. Brad was, among other things, an All-American at Arizona State when he roomed with Terry Francona. Kuroda on and off the rubber. 1-2 the count to Jeff Keppinger with Lance Berkman on deck. Dodgers lead 3-1. We're in the top of the third inning. Kuroda high set, turns, fires to first, and Bourne once again gets back. Three runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers, 1 run, 2 hits for the Astros. Bourne straight up as he takes his lead, as if he's just daring Kuroda. Now he spreads his legs, dangles, and there he goes on a ball that's going to be hit into the gap. It's going to land for a hit. Backhanded by Kemp. Bourne is going to stop at third as the throw dribbles in towards the mound. And Michael Bourne holding his helmet with his hand. His first reaction was, I could have scored. So Keppinger singles into the gap in left center. It's cut off by Kemp, And Bourne, running with 2 outs, stops at third. So Bourne rounding third and then had a jam on the brakes. Poor throw coming in, and that's really what upset Bourne. Oh no, as he holds his head. So first and third, 2 out, and Lance Berkman coming up. Berkman hitting .241, 4 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Lance, as we mentioned, hit 45 home runs a couple of years ago, but his home run totals have been coming down. The pitch to him is very high, ball 1. He had 45 home runs in '06. Then it dropped to 34 home runs in '07. Then it dropped to 29 home runs in '08. And then it really dropped 16 home runs in '09. So Lance waiting, 1 ball and no strikes. Kuroda in a spot of trouble here with 2 out. The 1-0 pitch in the dirt, blocked by Martin. The 2 balls and no strikes to Lance Berkman. Lance, a switch hitter, batting left-handed, of course, against Kuroda. Kuroda had made only 25 pitches in the first 2 innings, but now, after getting Quintero and Norris, he's given up a single to Bourne, a single to Keppinger, and Berkman up there at 2 balls and no strikes. No matter the fall off in home runs, a very dangerous, experienced hitter. All right, Berkman bends at the knees and waist. He's 6'1", but he shortens the strike zone a little bit. Left-hand hitter fouls it away off third, second deck, and the count 2-1. Down south, Nate Scherholtz got a base hit to score the Panda. Sandoval and the Giants take a 1-0 lead over Latos in the 4th inning. For Kuroda, he's laboring here after making 25 pitches in the first 2 innings. This will be his 25th pitch of this 3rd inning. Berkman waiting, Keppinger at first, Bourne down the line from third, and Berkman takes inside, ball 3, 3-1. So Kuroda now in a dangerous spot, and on deck is Carlos Lee. Lance Berkman earlier this year reached base safely in 9 consecutive plate appearances. So he's got a pretty good eye, and the 3-1 pitch coming up. Kuroda ready, here he comes, and it is low. It gets away from Martin, but not far enough. So the bases are loaded, and with 2 out. But of course the Dodgers scored their 3 runs in the first inning with 2 out. And now Rick Honeycutt going out as Carlos Lee slowly makes his way to the plate with the bases loaded and 2 down. And Lee already hit 1 out. Carlos, one of those rare players. He hit a home run in his very first major league at bat back in 1999 with the Chicago White Sox. They signed Carlos when he was 17 years old, but as Carlos said, I didn't like baseball until I was 16. My dad made me play. I preferred basketball and volleyball and not baseball. Well, he signed a 6-year deal for $100 million, so I think he made the right decision. By the way, he has 14 grand slams in his career. So the bases loaded, 2 out. Kuroda, a high set at the collarbone. Now Hiroki delivers and Carlos takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Carlos turning to say something to Brian Onora. Now back up to the plate. Lee, right-hand hitter, big fella, 6'2", maybe 240. And the strike 1 pitch on the way. Little breaking ball, slider on the corner, and the count 0-2. The Kuroda, pitching carefully to Berkman, fell behind 3-1. But now going after Lee, he has him 0-2. Kuroda at the belt. Standing room only on the infield. Strike two pitch, slider fouled away off to the right out of play, and the count remains 0-2. Carlos Lee finds Bourne at third, Keppinger at second, Berkman at first. Dodgers lead 3-1, top of the third with 2 out. And Kuroda now wants to talk to Martin. Lee last night went 0 for 4, though he is 1 for 4 with the home run. The Astros have gotten 87 home runs from Carlos Lee, halfway through a 6-year deal. Big right-hand batter, bends at the knees again. Kuroda feeding him sliders, and the count 0-2. Hiroki ready, looks at his runners, back he comes, fastball hit up the middle, base hit. Bourne will score, Keppinger will score, and it's a brand new ball game, 3-3. And of course an 0-2 fastball will certainly be a suspected pitch for Hiroki Kuroda. With the slider that he has, and he was feeding Lee sliders, I guess he felt he wouldn't be ready for the fastball, or maybe he just got it in a bad direction. But Lee jumps on the 0-2 fastball and singles to center, so he's driven in all 3 runs, and the Astros have tied it up. 0-2 pitch. Holy mackerel, have we seen a lot of 0-2 pitches knocked for base hits and home runs. And I remember years ago, and I've mentioned it before, pitchers were fined heavily if a guy got an 0-2 pitch and had a base hit, especially a home run. So here now is Hunter Pence, big swing and a miss, a big long swing. 0-1 the count to Hunter Pence. He's been a hot hitter until he came here. Last night 1 for 4, lined out in the 2nd inning tonight. So he is 1 for 5 in the series. Berkman at second, Lee at first, 2 out. Kuroda delivers, and the pitch is low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Three in the third. Pence waiting. Kuroda out of his stretch. Checks the runners, especially Berkman. Back with a pitch down and away. Hard slider that time. 1-2 the count. So Pence cocks his head, backs out as if saying, that's a pretty good pitch. 1-2. All this with 2 out. Bourne single to right. Keppinger single to center. Bourne to third. Berkman walked. And Lee, no balls and 2 strikes. Singled in 2 runs to tie it up. Kuroda's next one is off the plate. And the count 2-2. Hiroki has made far more pitches in this 3rd inning than he did in the first 2 innings. And the deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 in, 2 on. And Kuroda delivers a high chopper slowly to DeWitt. He picks it up off balance, is too late, and the bases are loaded. Hunter Pence, with great speed on that slow roller, legs it out for a base hit. And for the 2nd time in the inning, the bases are loaded, and Pedro Feliz coming up. Little ground ball. The runner Lee went right in front of Blake DeWitt, but it didn't appear to bother him. But by the time he got it to Loney, Pence was down the line. So bases loaded yet again. Berkman at third, Lee at second, Pence at first. Kuroda has made 35 pitches in the inning, and this will be number 36. Feliz with good numbers, 7 grand slams, and a .319 average under these conditions. He takes a big swing at a slider and doesn't get it, and the count 0-1. Feliz popped up in the 2nd inning. So the Dodgers got 3 in the first, but Houston back with 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd to tie. Strike 1 pitch is taken low, 1-1. Lance Berkman down the line from third. Carlos Lee away from second, and Hunter Pence at first. 1-1 the count. Kuroda working so hard in the inning, and his 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on, ground ball to the hole, backhanded by Carroll, back to second just in time, ahead of the hustling Hunter Pence. So a long inning for Kuroda. He gives up 2. The Astros leave 3, and at the end of 2.5, a 3-3 tie. The third inning, it'll be Xavier Paul, Manny Ramirez, and Matt Kemp. Xavier Paul, as you probably know, having just been called back to take over for Andre Ethier, who has that fractured right little finger, and he has that heavily taped around the splint. They actually, I think, tried to see if he could swing the bat. He couldn't do it, so they put him on the DL, and they called up Xavier Paul. Joe Torre was talking about his own playing days, and Joe said, I played with a broken thumb, but you don't really need your thumb that much to hold on to the bat. But the little finger of your right hand as a left-hand batter, that's another story. Meanwhile, Paul, a little looper to shortstop Keppinger, and we have one away in the third inning. So one away, and Manny Ramirez coming up in a 3-3 tie. Manny walked, came around, scored a run in the first inning. He walked his first at bat last night. And Manny fouls the first pitch back. Good fastball. 0-1 the count. Norris ready and comes back 0-1 and misses down and away. 1-1 the count. So Bud Norris is even. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Manny takes low, ball 2-1. It's interesting. Hiroki Kuroda gave up a key base hit on a no ball 2 strike count. And I'm sure he'd love to have that fastball back that he gave to Carlos Lee. Manny fouls it away. It's interesting to note the Astros have given up 20 hits this year on a no ball 2 strike count. 20. 2-2 the count to Manny Ramirez. Norris into the windup. Back he comes. Fastball pulled on the ground to third. Up with it, there's Felice to throw him out. And we have 2 down here in the third inning. and the batter will be Matt Kemp. You know, Friday the Dodgers celebrate The Empire Strikes Back on the 30th anniversary of its release. The first 20,000 fans will take home a commemorative Dodger Towns poster featuring original artwork from the movie. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/Star Wars or call 866-DODGERS. Matt Kemp, ground rule double in the first inning, hitting .282, and he takes low, ball one. 1-0. So Matt up and waiting. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Norris delivers. Kemp shows bunt, takes a strike. 1-1. Interesting in looking at the Astros this year, when they score 3 or more runs, they're 13-5. When they score less than 3, they're 0-20. Well, they're 3-3. As Kemp hits a bullet, and that got Norris on the right arm, and Kemp gets to first base safely aboard. So it's the second time that Bud Norris was hit by a pitch. Martin got him on the leg, and Kemp got him on the right arm. He's not rubbing, but he had to feel that. Pedro Feliz comes over. He shows the trainer an area just below the elbow of the right arm. Line drive, and it got him in his follow through. Caromed over to Matsui, and Matt legged it out. So Norris keeps looking at that right arm, and you can see stitches, I believe, on the arm. It looks like a small zipper, and that would be the stitches on the ball that made the imprint on the arm. And Bud says, hey, I'm from California. I'm from Nevada. I might have some people down here watching this game. And let me see if I can still pitch. Bud is well put together. He's an even 6, 220 pounder. And 25 years old. Brad Mills keeps talking to him, and Norris is doing a sales job. He wants to stay in, especially when his only 2 victories are against the Cardinals, and he's 3-3 here in the third inning. So Mills says, okay, you have a deal, and Brad walks off. So Matt Kemp, a 2-out single, literally and figuratively, off Norris, and the batter is James Loney. James Loney with second and third and 2 out. They pitch to him, and he promptly singled sharply to right to drive into. Then he stole second, and Casey Blake singled him home. He takes way off the plate, ball 1. Norris retired the first 2 batters in the first inning, Martin and Paul. Then he got Carroll, Kuroda, and Martin in the second. Then he gets the first 2 hitters, Paul and Ramirez, only to give up the single to Kemp. And of course, Matt is a threat to go. Loney waiting. Matsui and Keppinger. There goes Kemp. The pitch outside. The throw down. They got him. Matt Kemp can't believe it. He has a grin on his face. That's a bad call. That was a great throw by Humberto Quintero. He can really get that thing down there. And at the end of 3, a 3-3 tie. because of this play. Jerry Crawford is certainly in position to call it, but watch. The hand is on the bag. The glove has not touched him. Admittedly, a very close call either way. But Matt knew that he had the base stolen. But instead of getting angry, he just put a big grin on Crawford as if to say, I know you blew it. So now he's been caught as many times as he was all last year. Matsui bunts back to Kuroda, and just like that, one away. Matsui is now 0 for 18. Came in 0 for 16. Struck out and now bunts out. So the little second baseman having a lot of troubles. And the batter is Humberto Quintero. Quintero robbed of 2 hits last night by Kemp and by DeWitt. Tonight grounded out. So he could be 2 for 4, but he's 0 for 4. But boy, he has shown a wonderful arm throwing down to second base. Quintero probably slaps that one for a base hit, so they can't take that one away from him. So a 1-out single, and gives us time to ask you our text question. What do you think is most responsible for the Dodgers' 8-game winning streak? Do you think it's starting pitching? Do you think it's the bullpen? Or do you think it's improved defense? Check your answer. 86212 on your cell. It'll be interesting to hear how you think. 1-out single. Nara shows bunt, gets it down. Kuroda's play is to first. So the sacrifice advances Quintero to second. And Michael Bourne will be coming up. Perhaps just to help you make a decision, examining the 8-game winning streak. The Dodgers have scored 43 runs in 8, a little more than 5 runs. They've only allowed 15, so that's less than 2 runs. They've made only 1 error, and look at the bullpen, less than a run. So it's a tough call. I'd like to know what you think. Michael Bourne grounded out, single to right. Strike. Michael didn't score on the base hit by Lee, or didn't score actually on the base hit by Keppinger, but eventually he got home, and now trying to pick up Quintero from second. 1-1. Three runs, 6 hits for the Astros. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Ball 2. Kuroda so far has walked 1, but he has been behind a lot to his hitters, so he's fighting it a little bit. Two balls, 1 strike. High chopper up the middle, flagged by Carroll to get him. Nice play by Jamie Carroll. No runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of 3 1/2, a 3-3 tie.
brought to you by Carl's Jr. $6 Burgers made with 100% Black Angus beef. By Southwest. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. And by Chrysler. Visit us at chrysler.com or see your local dealer today.
Bottom of the fourth inning, we have a 3-3 tie. The Dodgers will have James Loney. He was left at the plate when Kemp was thrown out trying to steal. Loney, Blake, and DeWitt in that order. Against David Bud Norris. Loney hitting .312 and ball one. In for a strike. You wonder how fellas get nicknames and how sometimes the nickname just completely erases the front name, and Bud has certainly erased the name David. Ball two. What happened was he was 3 years old and he was with a group of adults who were going somewhere, maybe at an outing, and they all ordered a beer, and he walked in and he said, "I'll have that too," and it was Bud, and there you have it. 2-2 the count to James Loney. Ball three. He took a nasty crack on the arm, if you weren't with us, in the third inning. Got it just below the elbow on the fleshy part of the arm, thank goodness. 3-2. James Loney with first base open in the first inning, and they dared to pitch to him, and he singled to right to drive into the outfield, shading him a bit towards left, and off the plate for ball four. So the Dodgers get a leadoff man aboard on the walk to Loney. Don't forget the Padres are here tomorrow night and Thursday night. Both games televised on Prime Ticket. And Friday, Jim Leland and the Detroit Tigers come in, and that game will be on KCAL Friday night. The Fox Network will handle Saturday, and then we'll be back on Sunday, prime time at 1 o'clock. Then the Dodgers will go out on the road to Chicago and Colorado before coming back to spend 2 solid weeks just about at home. Bake, a ground ball to the right field side and through, and all the way to third goes Loney. A good one hopper by Pence, not in time. So Casey Blake, who singled in the first inning, takes a shot at the right side and finds the hole. And the Dodgers are in business. First and third, nobody out. And the batter DeWitt, followed by Carroll and then Kuroda. For Blake, a 2-hit game. It's been a little while. Casey's been fighting it. And now Blake DeWitt, who struck out in the first inning. Right. 3-3, bottom of the fourth. Nobody out. 0-1 the count. Giants leading San Diego 2-0 in the fifth inning. Oh, and 1. Little foul out of play. 0-2. Bud Norris collecting himself, deep in thought. Back in high school, he was a third baseman, outfield pitcher. He got a scholarship to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And he strikes out Blake DeWitt, second time. Down in the Astro bullpen, Wilton Lopez, a right-hander, throwing back on him. So 1 out as Lopez heats up. The Dodger hitter will be Jamie Carroll, who takes a long look at Larry Boa before getting in. So Blake at first, Loney at third, 1 out, and the pitcher on deck. You have a feeling the Dodgers might put on a play here. Carroll batting .279, throw to first, and Blake diving back to the bag. Three with 1 out, 4th inning. Loney at third, Casey Blake at first, strike to Carroll, 0-1 the count. The book on Norris tells you fastball, slider, changeup. No balls, 1 strike to Jamie Carroll. And a pop fly to shallow right. Tagging up is Loney. And let's see, with the pitcher on deck, he's coming up and he will score. Blake to second base. They get him, but the run counts. Loney brings in the run as Casey Blake tries to go to second on the throw to the plate. The inning is over. The Dodgers get 1, and at the end of 4, Dodgers 4, Astros 3. Internet and home phone delivered over an advanced fiber optic network. From Time Warner Cable, call 888-TW-CABLE. And by Farmer John, get the hot dog you eat at the game at home. Dodgers making the 3rd out on the bases in each of the last 2 innings. When Kemp was thrown out trying to steal to end the 3rd, Carroll's fly ball got Loney home, but then Blake tried to advance on the throw, and he was nailed. So we go to the 5th inning with the Dodgers leading 4-3. Keppinger, Berkman, and Lee in that order. They have 3 hits and a walk amongst them. Foul ball. Keppinger flied to center, single to center, and scored a run. Giants lead San Diego 2-1 now. And that's going to be a base hit into left center. The Keppinger goes 2 for 3. And the batter will be Lance Berkman. Say, bring the kids to Dodger Stadium Monday, May 31st. The Dodgers and the D-backs First 15,000 children 14 and under receive a Manny Ramirez batting practice jersey, compliments of Cacique. For tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com. May 31st. Here's Berkman, popped to short and walked. Ground ball to DeWitt. He turns to Carroll. Carroll back to Loney. Double play. For Lance Berkman, basically a fly ball hitter. That's only the second time he's grounded into a double play this year. 4-6-3. And that'll bring up Carlos Lee. So a downcast Berkman, it's been a struggle for him. Lee has homered and singled. He's driven in all 3 runs, and that's ball 1. Carlos Lee against Kuroda coming in was 2 for 8. So now 4 for 10, hitting .400. 1-1. Lee, in watching him from afar, appears to be a fun-loving player, a good-natured soul. He was having fun warming up with Michael Bourne. Then when he hit the home run in the second inning, he was having fun with the crowd. He's one of those fellows who looks like he finds it very easy to smile. But then again, he signed a 6-year deal for $100 million. 2-1. Right. Lee is a rancher. He has about 6,000 head of cattle, and he has a lot of bulls. And drives that one to left. If it's fair, it's gone right down the line. Foul. All eyes on Chris Guccione, the third base umpire, who is straddling the foul line. So Carlos comes back. He really got a hold of that thing, but just pulled it too much. Deep in the lower deck. So 2-2 the count. Ball 3. We talked about Carlos having a lot of bulls. One of them he named after Brad Ausmus. 3-2. Foul tip held by Martin. So Lee strikes out. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. And at the end of 4.5 innings, Dodgers 4, Astros. Fifth inning, and here's a look at how our text message voting is going so far. We asked, What do you think is most responsible for the Dodgers' 8-game winning streak? Starting pitching, the bullpen, or improved defense? Well, right now, 52% of you say starting pitching, 30% defense, 18% the bullpen. And, of course, the addition of John Eli has certainly helped. Now, Kuroda. Meanwhile, down south, a wild pitch by Jonathan Sanchez sent in a tying run. Jerry Hairston Jr. just had a 2-run single, and San Diego leading the Giants 4-2 at the end of 5, trying to beat the Giants 8 straight times this year. Wow. 2-1 to Hiroki, who grounded out to Lance Berkman in the second inning. Hiroki couldn't get around on the fastball at 94. 2-2 the count. 4 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Astros. The Astros in 1-run game. They're in 11, and they have a record of 5-6. The Dodgers in 1-run games, in their 11th, they're 6-4. Look out, as Hiroki Kuroda draws a walk. So James Loney opened up the 4th inning with a walk and eventually scored. And now Kuroda gets the walk, and the batter is Russell Martin. For Hiroki Kuroda, the first walk. Russell Martin with that 12-game hitting streak. Slam one up Norris' left leg. Would have been a hit, but it carried directly to Matsui, who threw him out in the first inning. Last time up, he flied to right. And a hopper into right center for the base hit. Kuroda will stop at second. So that extends it. Russell Martin has hit safely in 13 straight. So the Dodgers going after Norris again. First and second, nobody out. Brian Moeller gets up down in the Astro bullpen. Brad Arnsberg, the pitching coach, making his way out to the mound to try and help out a beleaguered pitcher. Arnsberg, when he was a player, was a first-round pick by the New York Yankees back in 1983. He was drafted 5 times, 4 times in the first round before signing with the Yankees. He spent his youth as a catcher, married a cheerleader, then started to have elbow problems, had surgery, and his pitching career pretty much went down the tube. Interesting, he didn't just have Tommy John surgery. Brad Arnsberg hurt himself in a game when he was pitching in relief for Tommy John. How do you like that? Okay, 2 on, nobody out, and Xavier Paul, the batter. Paul grounded out, popped up. They pull up the corners thinking bunt. Paul runs very well. But we'll see if they ask him to bunt. Manny Ramirez on deck, and then Matt Kemp. He shows bunt, gets it down foul, and the count 0-1. Joe Torre, Bob Schaefer, Larry Boa, the chain of command and the chain of a single. 0-1. Berkman ready to come to the plate. The bunt is down. It'll be Quintero to make the out at first, and the runners move up. So now for Brad Mills, remember in the first inning, with runners at second and third and 1 out, He pitched to Loney, and Loney singled in 2. Now he has a difficult choice. Does he put Ramirez on and bring up Matt Kemp? Dodgers lead 4-3. They have second and third and 1 out. Ramirez has walked and grounded to third. Well, Quintero was in a crouch, so they're going to pitch to Manny. Whether they're going to throw him a strike or not remains to be seen. And a line drive down the left field line. 1 run is in. Here comes the second run. So no matter what Brad Mills does, he's hooked on the horns of the dilemma. And the Dodgers now lead 6-3. And Brad will come and get his pitcher. So Manny goes 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. And Norris is charged with 6 runs and 7 hits. Brad Mills talking to the pitcher, who took that shot on the leg and took a shot on the arm and still wanted to hang in there. But they're going to take the ball from him. And Bud comes out, and we'll be back. Is brought to you by your Southern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a luxurious Lexus today. Visit Lexus.com. By Wells Fargo, together we'll go far. And by Dodge. Visit us at Dodge.com or see your local dealer today. Dodgers score 2 here in the 5th inning as Bud Norris comes out of the game and Brian Moeller picks up. For Norris, he made 75 pitches. He's charged with 6 runs, 7 hits. But of course, Manny Ramirez at first base is also Bud's responsibility. So they give the ball to Brian Moeller, a veteran. Brian will be 39 New Year's Eve. He's out of Rockingham, North Carolina, and he misses outside, ball 1. For Brian Moeller, originally drafted by the Tigers back in 1993 out of the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, and came up with Detroit in 1996. Misses low, ball 2. Spent about 6 years with the Tigers, maybe more than that. Then he went to the Reds, the Astros, the Marlins, back to the Astros, and here he is. 2-0. Ball 3. Brian Moeller, coming in relief, has been in 10 games, no decision. ERA 3.7. More hits than innings pitched. and a strike. The other thing for Brian Moeller, struck out 6 but walked 4, so he's been fighting it. 3-1 the count. And ball 4. So Kemp draws the walk. Ramirez advances to second, and the batter will be James Loney.
First baseman number 7, James Loney.
Well, James Loney tonight drove in 2 with a base hit when they pitched to him with runners at second and third. Then last time up walked and scored a run on Jamie Carroll's fly ball to right field. 2 on, 1 out, 2 runs in, and the Dodgers lead again. This time 6-3. They led 3-0, 3-1. Then it was tied 3-3. Then the Dodgers led 4-3, and now 6-3. Loney hitting .312, 4 home runs, 27 runs batted in. And a strike. 0-1. Loney with 48 base hits. He's been busy. 4 home runs, 27 runs batted in. He's at 15 multi-hit games. And fouled it away. He's tied with those 15 multi-hit games with teammate and sidelined Andre Ethier. 0-2. Dodgers trying to make it 9 in a row. Now they've allowed 3 runs. They've had 8 straight games, has Joe Torre, where they've allowed 3 runs or less. Well, they're trying for 9. Ramirez at second, Kemp at first. Foul back. 1 away. The trouble for Bud Norris started here in the 5th inning when he walked Hiroki Kuroda. And of course Kuroda is hitless, and that was a killer for him. Kuroda was 0 for 17 when he got a leadoff walk. Dodgers have been executing exceptionally well in the series with runners in scoring position. And Loney, this time a little fly ball coming up is Bourne, makes the catch, and the runners hold. So Loney, a fly ball to center. That's the second out, and it'll bring up Casey Blake. Prior to Loney just popping it up, the Dodgers were 6 for 11 with runners in scoring position, good for 12 runs batted in. So here's Blake. He singled to drive in Loney in the 1st inning, single to right to set up a run in the 4th. So Casey, whose average was down around 233, has built it back up, hitting 246. He was 1 for 4, a big double in the 1st inning last night. Strike. Oh, and 1 to count. Ramirez at second, Kemp at first, 2 out. Brian Moeller in relief of Bud Norris. Nice block by Quintero. 1-1. Pence, Felice, and Matsui are due up when the Astros come up in the 6th inning. 1-1. Ball 2, 2-1. Sitting quietly, the starting battery, Russell Martin. Now he has a 13-game hitting streak, and Kuroda picked up a walk to start the rally here in the 5th inning. 2-1 in the dirt. Nice save by Humberto Quintero. So Moeller pitched carefully to Kemp and walked in, then he got Loney. Now 3-1 the count to Casey Blake. And a little roller to third. Up with it there, Felice. High throw, but Berkman stays with it. So the Dodgers pick up 2. And at the end of 5, lead 6-3.
A battle of rematches. That means John Garland against Ramon Ortiz tomorrow night. Then Kevin Correa and Clayton Kershaw. And then the second place Detroit Tigers, 2 games back of Minnesota, will be in here starting Friday night. And the Dodgers have not done well against the American League since 2004. They're 29-52. Let's go back to this one.
The Dodgers certainly have their work cut out for them. And first pitch, ball 1 to Hunter Pence, who was lined out, had a leg single on a slow roller to Blake DeWitt. Boy, can he run. Strike, 1-1. Hunter Pence, 6'4", 215. For about a month, he's been hitting right around 300. Popped it in the air, foul, no play for Martin. 1-2 the count. Take a look at Hunter Pence holding the bat. For a guy at 6'4" and 215, it really jumps out at you. Look at, he's up the bat, choking up, as they say. See so many little guys in the league who hold it right down to the knob, but not Pence. Taps it to Loney. Foot race. James will do it. Hunter flying by. 1 away. And the batter Pedro Feliz, who has popped to short and hit into a force play. The Astro offense has been very, very sketchy. First of all, they're impatient. The hitters are 15th in the league in least number of pitches at an at-bat. And there you see Feliz going after the first pitch. They do that all the time. Carlos Lee, Lance Berkman, it doesn't make any difference. They do walk, but being so impatient, they're in the bottom of the league in getting walks. 0-2. The other thing is, if you take the Astros You find out if you compare position to the position of every other team in the league. They're below average in runs batted in all 8 regular positions. 0-2 to Pedro. Ball 1. They're first in ground balls to air outs. Two and two. Another thing, they watch ball clubs so closely today that if you do enough reading and enough research, you find out several weaknesses or strengths, as the case may be. Big bouncer to Casey. 2 down. For instance, they're 16th in runners going from first to third on a base hit. So, you know, you can follow the Dodgers on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phone with MLB.com. At Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Dodgers.com today for more details. A strike. A struggling Matsui, who is not hitting his weight. He's batting 145, and he is now 0 for his last 18. And he's in a hole 0-2. Matsui weighs 185, and he's batting 145. 1-2 to Kaz. He has had a really painful start to the year. In the dirt. With men in scoring position, Matsui is hitting .071. Remember, he had that 15-pitch at bat against Brian Wilson with the bases loaded, but flied out to end the game. Matsui is 5'10" from Osaka. And ground ball, Blake DeWitt. So a nice easy inning for Hiroki Kuroda. He could use it after that 35-pitch third inning, and he walks off leading 6-3. Hiroki Kuroda moving nicely now through 6 innings. Gave up 1 hit in the 5th inning, but then got the double play and getting pats on the back from fellow teammates, especially the pitching coach Rick Honeycutt. So the Dodgers now in the bottom of the 6th They'll get Ronald Belisario up in the bullpen. And as Belisario loosens up, Blake DeWitt, Jamie Carroll, and Hiroki Kuroda in that order. Blake DeWitt has struck out twice tonight. Moeller made 14 pitches back in the 5th inning. Off speed for a strike, and the count 0-1. Good changeup. Dodgers have been getting the leadoff man on, and it has paid off. Fouled away down the line. Last night in the 8th inning, Manny Ramirez led off with a double, came in to score. In the 4th inning tonight, Loney opened up with a walk. He came around to score. And then the big mistake by the Astros, Kuroda led off the 5th with a walk, and the Dodgers scored twice to open it up a bit, 6-3. Fouled at the plate, 0-2. DeWitt batting .269. Oh and 2. Little ground ball to Matsui. One away. So DeWitt goes 0 for 3. Jamie Carroll has struck out and flied to right to pick up a run batted in. Dodgers scored 3 in the 1st, but the Astros came back to tie it, 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd. Dodgers took the lead again with a run in the 4th and then opened it up a little with 2 in the 5th. Ball 1. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning. San Diego leading the Giants 4-2. Both starting pitchers, Latos and Sanchez, have left the game. 2-0. Padres trying to beat the Giants for the 8th straight time. And of course, for Bruce Bochy, the former San Diego manager, to come down there with the Giants, that's powerful stuff. That's ball 3. Garrett Anderson is going to come up and bat. He's waiting on deck to hit for Kuroda. So Hiroki tonight allowed 3 runs, 7 hits, went 6, and that's a strike. Jamie hitting .279. Another strike. Watching, restless, disappointed, frustrated, Rafael Furcal. On his right, Ramon Ortiz will be on the mound tomorrow night. So Jamie Carroll draws the walk, and now Garrett Anderson will be coming up to bat for Kuroda. So Hiroki getting 5s in the dugout as he comes out leading 6-3. Manny over to shake his hand. Anderson certainly knows a lot about Brian Moeller and vice versa. John Eli came over and just gave Kuroda the hug. You figure that Brian Moeller has pitched a lot against Garrett Anderson in the American League, and you're right. And Garrett has 10 hits and a .294 batting average against Moeller. So Anderson hits for Kuroda, and Ronald Belisario up in the pen. One out, Carroll at first. Anderson with a home run, 6 runs batted in. And Garrett grounds it to Berkman. He goes down to his shortstop for one. The return throw in time for the double play. So that stops the Dodgers. Hiroki will call it a night, and at the end at 6, Dodgers 6, Astros.
Lowe's experience. Lowe's, let's build something together. And by your Southern California Ford dealers, where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at scforddealers.com.
We have reached the 7th inning. The Dodgers lead 6-3. Ronald Belisario will now pick up for Hiroki Kuroda. Kuroda made 96 pitches. That's the 3rd time that's been his cutoff number. And he has a chance to be 5-1 as Belisario picks up. The Dodger bullpen has been brilliant during the 8-game winning streak. In 20 innings, the Dodger bullpen has allowed 2 runs, struck out 19. The opposition is hitting .134, and the earned run average of the bullpen over the streak 0.9. Ground ball to Casey Blake, a full turn, and that'll do it for Quintero. As usual, they don't hang around at the plate, do the Astros. 1 out. Corey Sullivan, a fleet-footed center fielder, will now hit for Moeller.
Number 18, Corey Sullivan.
Corey Sullivan, at one time with the Colorado Rockies, came out as a pinch hitter last night, and then they pulled him and Jason Michaels batted. But here is Sully. The Astros have one thing that's been going for them. They've been very successful with 17 pinch hits. Strike to Sullivan. 1 out, 7th inning. Corey out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Went to Wake Forest. Strike. Star athlete in high school in Wexford, Pennsylvania. They tell me that's just north of Pittsburgh. 7th round pick by the Rockies back in 2001. And he's been a successful pinch hitter of late. 3 hits in his last 5 pinch hit appearances. As we said, they have 17 hits, a home run, and 10 RBIs from their pinch hitters. Two and two the count. Ronald Belisario working on Sullivan. Sully's problem when he was with Colorado, no power. He could run like the wind. He could cover everything, but no sock. So Belisario comes back 2-2. Got it. So Sullivan strikes out. 2 down in the 7th inning, and the leadoff man, Michael Bourne, coming up. Michael Bourne grounded to second, singled to right, scored a run, and lost a hit on a good play by Jamie Carroll. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Hung-Chi Kuo begins to loosen up. Right. Belisario has 6 scoreless innings in his last 7 tries. Ground ball to the left to Carroll. Oh, what a nice stop, but then he can't make a grip. So Jamie Carroll, a diving stop but unable to throw. It'll be a base hit for Michael Bourne. In fact, if you're an infielder and you leave your feet, the chances are you're not going to get Bourne anyway. You know, he has 9 infield singles. So he gets a base hit, and the batter will be Jeff Keppinger, who is 2 for 3. Six runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers, 3 runs, 8 hits for the Astros. Keppinger flied to center and twice singled to center. Bourne with 14 stolen bases. Questionable that he'd be running late in the game down by 3. We'll see. Lance Berkman on deck. That's a strike. 0-1. Keppinger checking with Dave Clark. On 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Astros are doing reasonably well in their own division. They're 9-6 in the Central Division. But if you remove that, the 9-6, they are 4-19 against everybody else. 1-1. 1-2. Little slider. Keppinger trying to keep the inning alive for Lance Berkman. Two and two. That good sinking fastball that Belisario has. Just looking with Belisario and Berkman. Berkman is 1 for 1 against Belisario, and that 1 is a home run. So the thought is if Keppinger gets on, look out. That's why they have Kuo up. High fly ball into deep left field. Manny going back to the track, makes the catch. A long out to left field as Manny runs it down. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Dodgers lead 6-3. Good play by Manny. And now the crowd will be asked to sing God Bless America, followed by Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Ladies and gentlemen, this time we ask that you the singing of God Bless America. Please welcome back to the field, Christine Elezai.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains, through the prairies, to the ocean, wide with foam.
Christine Eleazar.
For the Astros, Ronald Belisario took 13 pitches to take care of Houston in the 7th inning, and Lopez will be facing Martin, Paul, and Ramirez. So Bud Norris, then Brian Moeller, and now Lopez. Martin 1 for 3, so he has hit safely now in 13 straight. 1 ball and no strike. Well, down south, Andres Torres just hit a 2-run home run for the Giants, and that ties up that game 4-4 in the top of the 8th inning. An interesting note about the outcome of that game. If the Padres win, they will have beaten the Giants 8 in a row, and for the Giants, most losses to one team to begin a season. In 1977, the Giants lost their first 8 meetings against the Chicago Cubs. 1-1 the count. That's a strike. Wilton Lopez is from Nicaragua. He's an even 6, 200-pounder, originally signed by the Yankees, came to the Astros in 2009. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fastball just low. Fastball, slider, changeup. Russell hitting .267, and down he goes. So Martin strikes out to go 1 for 4, and the batter will be Xavier Paul.
Xavier Paul.
Xavier Paul 0 for 2 with a sacrifice, starting in right field tonight. Dodgers figure to start Reed Johnson, Garrett Anderson, Xavier Paul. Depends on how Joe likes the matchups. Lopez is 1-0, but his earned run average is over 6. That's a high pop fly down the left field line. A trio of Astros, and it's Keppinger makes a nice play. So 2 out in the 7th, and Manny Ramirez coming up. Manny Ramirez has walked, grounded out, singled, scored a run, driven in a run, and making a couple of nice plays in the outfield. Ball 1. Wilton Lopez was claimed off waivers from the Padres to join Houston. He'll be 27 in July. 2-0 to Manny. One thing that Lopez has done throughout his career, give up more hits than innings pitched. That's a strike. This year, as he tries to overcome that, he had worked 10 innings. Sure enough, he had given up 14 hits. So he pitches out of the stretch a lot. 2-1 to Manny Ramirez. That's a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Bottom of the 7th inning. Dodgers lead the Astros 6-3. Dodgers began the night 2 games back of San Diego and a half a game behind the Giants. Ball 3. Well, Lopez goes all the way. Waiting on deck, Matt Kemp. 3-2. And got him. And he was going to go to first and called out. So the Dodgers go out in order, only the 2nd time tonight, and at the end of 7 lead the Astros 6-3. To you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. By Carl's Jr. $6 burgers made with 100% Black Angus beef. And by Chivas 18-year-old. Chivas, live with chivalry. Dodgers leading 6-3 as we go to the top of the 8th inning. 2 changes for the Dodgers. Belisario pitched the 7th inning and now comes out. And the Dodgers 2 changes. First of all, Reed Johnson will go into left field, and I assume he would bat 9th. And the new pitcher, Hong-Chi Kuo, he would go into Manny Ramirez's spot and bat 3rd. So Kuo getting ready to pitch to Berkman, Lee, and Hentz. Hong-Chi 0-1, good ERA. 8 strikeouts, only 2 walks. Lance Berkman, who has not batted right-handed hardly at all. He has 10 at-bats right-handed. Right. Even though he is a switch hitter, he hardly ever hits from this side of the plate. 0-1. Fastball in there, 0-2. We mentioned earlier that Hung-Chi Kuo faced Berkman only once in the past, and Berkman had a base hit, 1 for 1. 6-3 Dodgers, top of the 8th. Breaking ball on the fists, a little slider, just ate him up. 1 away. They're pretty hard to have only 10 at-bats and go up against Kuo. Here are the final numbers for our text message question. Remember, the question was, what do you think is most responsible for the Dodger 8-game winning streak? Starting pitching, the bullpen, or improved defense? 75% of you said starting pitching. The 1 away. Here's Carlos Lee. Little wrinkle in for a strike, that slider. Lee will be followed by Hunter Pence. Oh and 1. And another slider, but it stayed up. 1-1. Carlos Lee homered leading off the second. Single to drive in 2 in the third. Struck out in the 5th. Good fastball. Carlos Lee might have hurt himself a little bit. One ball and 2 strikes. Still 1-2. Coming back with a slider in the middle 80s, 88 in fact. The remarkable Hung-Chi Kuo. He's had 8 straight appearances without giving up a run. That would cover 8 innings. Foul ball. Hit the protective railing, thank goodness. One and 2. Well, they're going to the bottom of the 8th inning down south. Giants and the Padres all tied up 4-4. Fastball hit the left. Reed Johnson on the run picks it off. So Reed Johnson comes into the game to take over left field, takes a base hit away from Carlos Lee. And with 2 out, the batter will be Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence lined out to DeWitt, had a slow roller that he legged out to DeWitt for a base hit and grounded out to Loney. 1-4-3. Right. One thing for sure, if you're an infielder and Hunter Pence hits the ball on the ground, you had best get rid of it in a hurry. I mean, he runs as if his life is at stake. 1-1. We paid attendance tonight on Andre Ethier bobblehead night. 55,662. A sellout. 55,662. 1-1. Breaking ball on the fist. That slider just sawed that bat right off Pence's hands. 1-2 the count. That thing's just going to come in and eat him up right there. Well, he winds up with a swizzle stick. One and 2 to Hunter. 1 for 3, batting .250. But for about 10 days, he was hitting .350. And for about 3 weeks, hitting .290. 1-2. And down he goes. So Quo comes in, goes 1-2-3, and at the end of 7.5, 6-3 Dodgers. Go to the bottom of the 8th inning. In the first inning with 2 out, a walk and a double, and they pitched to Loney with first base open, and he drove in both Ramirez and Kemp. James then stole second base, and Casey Blake singled up the middle, and the Dodgers were leading 3-0. It was then 3-3 when the 4th inning rolled around, and Loney opened up with a walk. Blake singled into third, and on a fly ball, Loney scored. And then last time up, Manny Ramirez knocked in a base hit and an RBI as Martin brought it in, and the Dodgers lead 6-3. It'll be Kemp, Loney, and Blake in the bottom of the 8th inning against right-hander Jeff Fulcino out of Titusville, Florida. Fulcino went to the University of Connecticut. Hard worker in the Marlins and the Royals organization, and he was the Astros Rookie of the Year last year. Fulcino last year in 61 games, he was 6-4 with an ERA of about 3.4. Fulcino is a big man. He is 6'5" and a good 250 pounds. And a strike. Matt Kemp doubled, singled, and walked. And a comeback. So Fulcino makes a nice play to get Kemp. 1 out in the 8th.
First baseman number 7, James Loney.
James Loney coming up. James has been busy. Single to drive in 2 in the first inning. Then stole second and came home on the base hit by Blake. Then he walked in the 4th inning. Went to third on a single by Blake. And came home on Jamie Carroll's fly ball. Last time up, fly to center. A strike. James hitting .310, 4 home runs, 27 runs batted in. And little ground ball to Matsui. So Fulcino has retired 2 in a row. Last 6 Dodgers have gone down. And the batter is Casey Blake. Casey fighting it, but tonight goes 2 for 3. Single to drive in a run in the first inning. Single to set up a run in the fourth. And then last time up, grounded out. Strike. When the Astros come up in the ninth inning and Jonathan Broxton is throwing in the bullpen, Felice, Matsui, and Quintero do up. Oh, 2. Fulchino, fastball, slider. 0-2 to Casey. In the dirt. Sellout crowd tonight, a high-spirited crowd of 55,662, seeing the Dodgers try to win 9 straight and then go head-to-head with the front-running ball club, the San Diego Padres. Tomorrow night and Thursday night, followed by the Detroit Tigers on the weekend. John Garland and Ramon Ortiz tomorrow night. Kevin Correa and Clayton Kershaw Thursday night. 2-2. Well, at the end of 8 innings down south, Giants 4, Padres 4. The Padres trying to beat the Giants for the 8th straight time. Ball 3. Fastball hit the left field and deep. Looking at it is Carlos Lee. It's gone. Casey Blake comes up with his 3rd hit of the night, and the Dodgers lead 7-3. For Casey, his 4th home run. His 23rd run batted in. And for Blake, that would be his first home run since the 24th of April. He homered against the Washington Nationals. And for Casey, the 150th career home run for him. So a milestone. And hugs from Matt Kemp. But Blake has a big 3-hit night. That is very good news for the Dodgers. He's been fighting it. 2-0 the count to Blake DeWitt. Ball 3. To Jeff Fulchino. Gives up the home run. It would be the 3rd home run he's given up in 13 innings. Right, 3-1. Down in the Dodger bullpen, now that they lead by 4, Jonathan Broxton has stopped, and Ramon Troncoso will get up and try to close. Troncoso made 16 pitches and closed last night. And that's a high hopper over the mound. Barehanded try by Keppinger, not in time.
Shortstop number 14,
So DeWitt comes up with a base hit. And the batter will be Jamie Carroll. So Matsui couldn't get back over there. Keppinger, shifting on a left-hand batter, had a slight chance. But Blake beats it out. 7 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Astros. And here's Carroll, struck out, had a scoring fly ball, and walked. Jamie hitting .279. 7-3 Dodgers, trying to put the heat on both the Giants and the Padres, who are tied 4-4 in the ninth. Light breeze has picked up, blowing out to right field. Fastball for a strike. Hiroki Kuroda went 6, allowed 3 runs, and stands to pick up the win. Fights off a good fastball, 1-2. Dodgers scored 6 runs against Bud Norris, and now a run against Fulchino. Imagine Bud Norris now. There's the kid whose career this year 2-0 against the Cardinals, 4-0 in his career with an earned run average of 0.3. When Norris started the game tonight, he was 0-3 against the Western Division, and his earned run average was over 14. The Bulldog kid, because he really hung in there when Matt Kemp drilled him in the 3rd inning. He also had a shot off the leg by Russell Martin, but Bud hung tough. There goes the runner on a ground ball wide of 3rd, and Felice takes care of Carroll. So the Dodgers settle for 1. The home run by Casey Blake. He got it up and in, and boy did he turn on it, and the Dodgers lead 7-3. Their 9th consecutive win, leading the Astros 7-3, and Ramon Troncoso following Belisario and Quo to close it out. The Dodger bullpen again really raising some eyebrows. Belisario a scoreless inning, Quo a scoreless inning. So during the streak, the Dodger bullpen in 22 innings has given up 2 runs and have struck out 21 batters. So Troncoso, who pitched the 9th inning, gave up a base hit and nothing else last night, now trying to get 3 outs, and Pedro Felice will be the first of them. Pedro Felice popped up, hit into a force play, grounded out. The Astros have just stopped dead in the water. They haven't had a man reach second base since the 4th inning, when they sacrificed Humberto Quintero to second. Ground ball to Blake, and Casey on the money. And as usual, the Astro hitters, they don't waste any time. We mentioned at the start of the series, they are 15th out of 16 in the National League in pitches per plate appearance. They just go up there and hack, and out they go. They've been retired in order tonight. 1, 2, 3. So they've been retired in order, a 1, 2, 3 inning, 143 times in 39 games. So for Brad Mills, tough thing to swallow. Matsui doesn't waste any time. Second pitch, he's gone. So the Astros are fun if you're double parked. 2 out in the 9th inning. And the catcher, Humberto Quintero, grounded out, single to right, grounded out again. 1-4-3. Jeb Blum, switch hitting, is out on deck. Well, let's see if Quintero gets into the count at all. Right. Well, the Dodgers are 1 out away from their 9th win. The last time they won 9, they won 11. That was back in 2006. 0-2. Top of the 9th. Andres Torres, who had a 2-run home run earlier in the game, is up there with 1 out against Heath Bell, and the Giants have runners at first and second. 0-2. And a pop fly to right field, cruising over his ball, and the Dodgers have won 9 in a row. Dodger record, they're now 5 games above 500. They're above 500 against the Central Division. They have been pounding the West. They're 12-3. And for the 9th straight victory, the Dodger pitching staff allows 3 runs or less as they win 7-3 tonight. Time of the game, 2 hours and 36 minutes, and we'll be back.